Welcome to Valley Homes on TV. Todd Flesner, along with Debbie Indahar Giordano.
Hello there.
Hey, thanks for joining us on Valley Homes on TV here on Channel 26 in Milpitas. You've tuned in either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday evening at
6:30?
6:30, Saturday, Sunday mornings at
9 a.m.
Awesome, thanks.
Glad you remembered, Todd.
I'm glad you're here to cover for me. We have fun bringing you the show, talking about topics that hopefully are of interest to people around town, introducing you to people who I think are interesting. And you
Yes.
brought a guest today.
I have. It's Ricky Bowen, and he's a financial planner. We met through the Chamber of Commerce and
Yes.
some other local activity here. So we'll talk about his service and things that he does, and of course his niche, which is financial planning.
Terrific. Everybody needs a financial plan.
We do. Yes.
well, good. Well, welcome, Ricky.
Thank you.
Hey, we're delighted to have you. So we like to start off just getting a chance to know a little bit about you, your background, where you grew up, and maybe a little bit of education as well.
Sure. So I'm one of those rarity. I'm an Okie from Muskogee. Okay. And so you know the song, right? I'm Okie from Okie, right? I have an engineering background. I spent 18 years in the electronics industry. And I started with the financial planner when I was 27 years old. And when I was ready to leave that industry, the financial planner said, why don't you become a financial planner? It's the last thing I would ever thought of.
Isn't that something?
But that was 21 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And have enjoyed working with families, individuals, and businesses since then.
Great.
Terrific.
Great.
So, did you go to school around here? Your credentialing? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So, as far as education, my engineering degree was from DeVry Institute of Technology in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, wow.
And then, as far as credentialing, I have completed the CFP exam. Certified retirement. Sorry.
That's okay.
Certified retirement counselor
okay.
training. I've done certified estate planning training.
Wow, okay.
And many aspects around taxes and so on.
One of my favorite questions to ask. Obviously, you stayed in this area. What keeps you living in the Bay Area? What do you like about it most?
Oh gosh, I enjoy the ocean. I like to deep sea fish.
Okay.
I enjoy the flexibility of the various weathers. I like to road bike. My family and I, my two daughters and wife, we like to get out and enjoy there. I like to get down to Santa Cruz. We can go up to Lake Tahoe. It's just the flexibility of what you can do in a very little space.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. I'm going to go off script. Your biggest catch? When you're deep sea fishing?
27-pound salmon, king salmon.
Sounds delicious.
Excellent.
Okay, so let me continue on. We're off
We can
script
talk
here.
later.
We'll talk later. So we talked about your different career paths that led you to financial planning. But what's interesting is you wrote a book.
Yes.
Not a Problem.
Yes.
Actually, you and I met a few weeks ago, and I did read this book. I thought it was amazing about taking care of your family. So what are the contents about, and what inspired you to write the book?
So, as a planner, I really focus more on, as a consultant, working with behavior, and a lot comes up when it comes to taking care of family, and particularly aging families. Maybe a little bit about myself. I took care of my father the last 3 years of his life.
Okay.
And
And you mentioned you have a mother-in-law that...
I have a mother-in-law that
got some
my
challenges.
wife spends about 20 hours a week helping her out.
Yep.
And we took care of our father and my father until he passed, and we had to do not resuscitate, and we had to pull the plug in this situation. I also have a couple of daughters. They're on the autism spectrum, and so to experience a lot of this is what I experienced with my families. And it's one thing when I experienced it, didn't know about it, really walked with it, and now I've walked with it as well.
Okay.
And it's made me even better about the respect and understanding of working with families.
Okay.
Well, that's awesome. The focus on families, and particularly, as you have parents who are aging in their concerns, are there any recommendations or things that you have for folks who maybe have aging parents that they're caring for or they're concerned about?
The biggest question that comes up is between parents and their children
Mhm.
is how do we start the conversation?
Okay.
And that's what the booklet is about.
Agree. Yeah.
It's a very simple way to help somebody to start the conversation.
Yeah.
And it really kind of portrays my family when I found out that my father was in the hospital, and he had experienced a number of major strokes, and we were on vacation.
Just
So
like the book has. I
yeah.
know. Yeah.
And what do you do?
Yeah. Right.
All right. Do you leave the family there? Do you take them back home with you? And the thing is that the notification is from one of my siblings, letting me know that, hey, Dad's here and we need help. So what do? Did you have a plan for that in case that comes up?
Right.
Did you have a discussion with your siblings about how this is going to be taken
Exactly.
care of?
Right.
Yeah.
Did you talk to your parents, and do you guys have a plan?
Uh huh. Uh huh.
It happens, and it happens a lot.
It happens a lot. Yeah.
And you can't call it unexpected
Right.
because it's happening.
Well, yeah, it's something that doesn't, schedule itself, right? And so I think it's great. You have a primer there to help start that conversation because it's not an easy one, I imagine, to have.
Actually, it is.
Okay.
So I usually get this question from the kids. All right. I think they have a trust. I think they have a will. I don't know if they do or they don't. And I'm not comfortable because I really don't want to know about their finances or, my dad doesn't want to talk about his finances. And I say to them, well, in the event something does happen, there's a couple of documents, a power of attorney, which represents an agent who is supposed to act on the parent's behalf. I said, do you know if you're one of those agents? No. I said, so that's a door opener. Hey, I heard about Dad, Mom, I heard about this power of attorney and medical health directive. Do you all have one? Yeah, we do. Am I named as one of the agents? You are. What I understand is I should have copies of those documents
Correct.
so that in the event something does happen, I don't have to go to your house trying to figure out where it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or just simple stuff, huh?
That's a real quick, easy way to open up the conversation.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
Let's move through financial planning.
Absolutely.
Let's move to the next topic. What are the goals of financial planning? What do you sit down and what do you work out with your clients?
Wow. I think probably the one thing that comes up is families are looking for peace of mind. And that can be anywhere from purchasing a home, retirement, changing a career, okay, taking care of children like myself with special needs daughters. What do I need to do to plan for their needs, particularly if I become disabled or for education is maybe a little different than what others might do for their children. Others that come up is more with a lot of the women. About 75% of my client base are women, okay? And they're widows, divorced, single, and they're looking for leadership. Now, what I'm told is that we like you because you seem to have been potty trained. I've been married 27 years. And they're not looking to be told. They're looking for somebody who will listen, number one, provide clear and concise information,
Okay.
and then provide leadership and helping them to move forward in the right direction.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Awesome. So we talk a lot about real estate on this show.
Yes.
And that's a part of what a lot of folks have in terms of their net worth. If folks have real estate, a home, property as a part of their portfolio, how do you look at that? How do you incorporate that into the discussions with them?
Absolutely. And I'm glad to be on your show here because as you all are involved with real estate, it is a major piece of somebody's portfolio, and whether they have rental property or whether it's their primary residence. The issue comes up with back to parents and their aging. And when do you reach out to them and say, it's time for you to move? Okay?
Oh wow, yeah.
Right? And, I don't know what what way I'm going to be, but I know that when I took my father into our house, I had to make some of those decisions because he wasn't able to make them himself. Okay. The other aspect of it is it set up properly in the event of somebody's death? Is it in the name of the trust? Okay. There's this thing called taxes, and if it isn't in the trust, it is going through probate, and you got lawyer fees, you got court fees. You can reduce those fees.
And that was going to be my next question, was incorporating the tax planning into it. And how about the new tax laws, things that have come on board?
Oh my gosh.
How do you adjust with the new tax laws too?
Well, and you bring up a good point, because working with a financial planner should never be just a financial planner. Mine is that you work with a team, and that team would include your financial planner, a tax professional. It may be your real estate agent, could be your insurance agent, could be your investment advisor. All of these play into that decision around what you do with the house, whether you're buying the house, whether you're selling the house, whether you're helping parents move out of the house, whether you're setting up a trust. All this is important to try to have that team in place.
That seems to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this isn't the only book you've written.
It's interesting you bring
I
that
got
up.
the other one.
So, just a little disclosure. I'm the marketing director for a publishing company. It's called Rewrite, LLC, and they provide books written by kids for kids.
Okay.
And the booklet is the reason why I went through Rewrite, is because we didn't bring kids in to write the booklet. It really came from my experiences and obviously 21 years of working with families, business owners, and individuals. But how do you put something together that somebody will pick up? All right. And so if you notice the title, it says "Not a Problem." How many knots do we have in our lives? And I, as a financial planner, I enjoy actually helping unravel those knots.
Awesome.
And we were sitting as we were writing the book, and somebody said as I was writing, "What are we going to write? What are we going to call it?" I said, "I don't know." And he said, "You always say not a problem." So I really appreciate rewriting those involved. It's a lot of work to put a booklet together.
Well, how about this one? We're All Moving.
Well, We're All Moving was written by a group of kids.
Okay.
And it was a consortium of moving companies that wanted to have a reading material for the family's kids so that they could be comfortable of the aspect of moving. Okay. So Rewrite, what we do is bring together a group of kids, and it could be of various ages, different ways of how they can be chosen. And then you have the pretty much the organizer, the person who's running this, and they say, we have a topic. The topic is about moving, and we want you to come up with a book about moving. And inside that booklet, the kids came up with how it is, how they feel like they're aliens when they move from one place to another.
That's really cute.
So they initiated the book
So funny.
of a Earth family moving from an alien planet to back to Earth, okay? And that the alien family that came from there to Earth, they like pizza just as well, except for they like worms on theirs. And it's something where, as adults, we're all still kids, right?
Right.
And so this is a booklet that can be read by parents. It can be read to the kids. It can be kids.
Cute.
But it initiates a conversation, and that again is why the booklet. And we're planning on doing an additional series of books on
guy,
aging.
isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very talented.
Yeah.
I can tell Todd's excited.
And I appreciate
You're making me blush.
I appreciate your enthusiasm and the positive attitude. But what are some of the challenges that you have as you work with families in some of these? Because these can be heavy issues, right?
They're all heavy issues.
Yeah.
I think one of the challenges is when I'm working with couples, and they have been brought up differently in how they view money.
Each of the separate people.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right? How do I take those two to come together, and that we agree on an approach that doesn't go down just your path, or just doesn't go down your path? And that's what I do, is I actually develop a means where I take them to the board and I say, let's put together a plan and agree on how we will communicate when it comes to making decisions, when it comes to talking about
That
money.
sounds like marital counseling almost.
You know, it actually, in a sense, it is.
It is.
And I was a budget counselor for 13 years, and I would have to say I'm not a marriage counselor, okay? But it is counseling. A lot of what I do is about counseling, especially when you, another thing that comes up, I ask people, so, and again, I want to talk about our aging, because there are a lot of women that are out there that are single, okay? And they're living alone. What happens if they need some type of help? Who's going to come to their aid? And we bring up, well, the kids. It's, all right, where do they live? Oh, they're on the East Coast. Oh, so you're in the hospital right now.
Right,
Some
yeah.
decisions need to be made right now. And your kids are going to fly out to take care of you. And they go, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other is are they just going to drop what they're doing with their families and spend months, if that's what's going to be required to care for you? And so I've helped them to see that it's important to identify somebody, even if it's a close friend, that's here locally, that can have some say and work with the kids versus it only being the
All
kids
right,
there.
that makes sense. So rewards. You must have quite a few.
Oh my gosh.
I can tell you enjoy what you do.
I love what I do. And the rewards, first, it's a privilege that individual couples and business owners will allow me to look at their most precious things that they wouldn't feel comfortable sharing with their closest friends. And we get pretty detailed, because we do have to talk about death. We do need to talk about retirement and what is that going to look like to you, whether or not you're going to have to work some more in order to achieve specific goals. But what I value the most is seeing by families and individuals and business owners get the aha. Okay? They make a paradigm shift. Because they were looking at it this way. We have a discussion. I point out some things to them, and they go, okay, maybe it's not as bad, or maybe I don't need to go down there, because this is the way I was thinking.
Right.
So I get to stay objective in this situation where they have to deal with the feelings and emotions and how they were brought up and so on. And what I truly get pleasure is when I see that aha moment, and they're either ready to let go, they're ready to move forward, they're open, and I've had the tears, I've seen the arguments, and then to see those overcome.
Terrific.
Yeah, I wish it was a lot of people, again, in what I do unique. I don't spend all the time talking about your dollars, how much return you're going to get, and so on. Those are just tools. And if I don't have an appreciation of this, then how do I use the tools?
Correct.
And what we find out is they may have those tools and they're incorrectly set up, because maybe it was 10 years ago before they had kids, right?
Right.
Are they set up correctly?
Yeah, great. How about the future? What sort of goals, aspirations do you have?
Honestly, I would say that I look forward to retiring. It's amazing. 21 years. I can't tell you how many couples, individuals that I've had the privilege of seeing them retire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, good. Well, my hope was that that's not next week, because I think folks can really benefit from what you do.
So with that said, you guys are funny, and we're gonna go fishing together here. On the screen, would you talk to us what your contact information is?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Ricky Bowen. My email address is Ricky, RICKEY, period, Bowen, B as in boy, OWEN, at GFA, George Frank Albert, investments with an S.com. You can also reach me directly on my cell phone, 408-515-3368.
Beautiful.
Great.
Thank you.
Ricky, it's been delightful having you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we
All
appreciate
right.
you so much, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
The following is a public service announcement test to determine if you need a fishing license and boat registration before you head out on the water. Let us begin. Are you a pelican? Does this look like your house? Is this your idea of fishing with friends? Do you use your feet as fishing hooks? Are you your own boat? Do you have webbed feet? No, I mean like a... That's the one. Do you want this in your favorite lake? Yuck, yike. No thanks, mister. Regardless how you answered, you need to be licensed and registered because it helps local conservation efforts protect the very natural resources you enjoy boating and fishing in for generations to come. Do your part at takemefishing.org.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Debbie Indahar Giordano and Todd Flesner.
Hello.
Hello there. We are going to do a little wrap up here. We're in June, but we're going to wrap up for the month of. We're wrapping up for June. I've got May statistics.
Okay.
Yeah. So, say I had an open house on Sunday. Traffic flow was about 20 to 25 through
Okay.
the house. Typically, I would have had about 50.
Okay,
So
I was going to say that sounds like that's a little bit less than
a
this.
little bit like quite a lighter deal. But the
It's
good
Father's
news-
Day though.
Father's Day, that's part of
Yeah.
it. But the good news is it only takes one offer, one great offer.
Right.
And I think we've been used to so many, 5, 10, 15
Mm-hmm.
offers that we've gotten spoiled. And we're not in that kind of a market, but we're still in a strong seller's market.
Okay, so starting to even out a little bit, but still a great market to sell in.
Still a great market to sell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrific. Yeah, and I'm starting to sense that as well from others I've talked with that there's a little bit more property that's now coming onto the market,
Right.
so there's a little bit more selection for people, and
Right.
so that will take some of the pressure off those multiple offer sort of situations.
Correct. And rising interest rates, yes? So,
Well, the big news this last week is the Fed raised interest rates again. Again, that's short-term rates. The Fed's discount rate, which impacts the prime rate, it impacts credit card rates, doesn't necessarily directly impact long-term mortgage rates. In fact, mortgage rates have held pretty solid through this period of time. We've not seen those bump up. And we've talked before on the show that there are a lot of other dynamics in that market that influence long-term rates versus short-term rates.
Okay.
Now, that said, we anticipate the Fed's going to raise rates again a couple more times this year. It looks like we have some headwind in our not headwind, but some momentum with the economy right now.
Jobs are good.
Jobs are good. Inflation rate is starting to pick up a little bit, and as inflation starts to pick up, we're getting closer to the Fed's target of 2%.
is that
of
that
inflation.
Q4? What is that you call it?
Well, we had QE, we had quantitative easing, we've had all sorts of stuff, and we are unraveling that the repurchase program that the Fed's had of mortgage bonds. We're getting to a more normalized sort of market in terms of mortgage bonds.
Okay.
Right? So.
Okay.
I anticipate
So you're
that-
still pre-qualifying folks?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You have a pool of buyers that are ready, willing, and able to get out there and get a home, huh?
We do. I'm seeing more and more first-time home buyers. We have more and more special programs just for first-time home buyers to help with the major challenge here of real estate in the Bay Area. We know we have high prices. We also have folks who make good earnings, right? And so sometimes it's chasing that down payment. So we've developed some special low down payment programs to help overcome that number one challenge of buying a home.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, you want to look at what the numbers look like in
Yeah,
Milpitas?
let's talk about it.
Okay, May 2017, we were looking at an average price for single-family home of $1,057,000, and that jumped up to last month of $1,291,000.
Okay.
So a good, 200,000 bump over the year. So
Okay.
that makes sense. And then the median price jumped from $992,000 to $1,238,000.
Okay.
So very good. Condo market, actually. Oh, this is interesting. So it jumped from May of a year ago from 729 to $1,064,000.
Wow.
$1,064,000 for a condo.
For a condo.
Yeah.
Do you have there what the volume of sales was to lead to that?
21 sales
21.
last year, 20 sales this year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then it jumped from 820,000 to $1,090,000. So that's a good 250 jump,
Right.
along with the single family home market. I'll
Okay.
be darned.
Well, we've known that over this last year that it's been a real seller's market. Prices have been appreciating, and those numbers really point that out.
Definitely point that out.
Yeah.
So I've got a number of listings I'm putting on, and I'm very careful where I'm pricing the properties.
Okay.
So we don't overprice and make sure we're not out of the fringe of what the market will bear.
Okay.
Sellers will get their price, but you can't overprice right now.
Okay. Well, like you said, the foot traffic's down a little bit, but
It's down.
still good demand. I
Still
think.
good demand, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
good. If folks are out looking for property or have interest in what's going on in the real estate market, how do they get in touch with you?
My email is giordanodj@aol.com or phone number 408-945-8988. And you, Todd?
T. Flesner at opusadvisors.com or cell phones 408-921-0669. Welcome your questions.
Absolutely. Same here. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer those on the show or get back to you. Thank you very much for watching Valley Homes on TV. We'll see you next month.
See you next time.